So I'd like to start by taking a brief moment to think about a world without innovative entrepreneurship. So just go ahead and take a brief moment to think about what that would be like. Okay. So in a world without innovative entrepreneurship, you might have a little bit of trade and commerce, but you probably wouldn't have the complex markets that we have today. You might have some inventors, and some scientists, but without them being entrepreneurs themselves and without having entrepreneurs to bring their ideas to market, you wouldn't see the manifestations of those ideas in the products and services that we have today. So we probably wouldn't have electricity, cars, advanced medicine, enhanced crop yields. So the world population would probably be smaller, poorer, and less informed. Would we have investors? Probably not, because while not all investors are growth strategy investors, growth capital investors, they do need some incremental business, competitive edge, and innovation in which to grow their dollars. And we might not, and this can be up for debate, but we might not have democracy, because many studies show that democracy evolves when people have developed significant enough assets where they want to protect them, and they use those assets as leverage to demand rights from the government. So the point I'm getting at is that entrepreneurs, innovative entrepreneurs, are really at the crux of not only economic development, which is something that we talk about a lot today, especially with the financial collapse, but also human development. And yet, 80% of small businesses fail within their first 3 years. And that rate is probably higher in emerging markets because there's less access to resources. So the key question in the room, particularly for the investors and intermediaries, is how do you identify the high-impact entrepreneurs who have the potential to really succeed? And that's a question that we ask ourselves every day at Business Council for Peace. For those of you who don't know us, Business Council for Peace, BPeace for short, provides pro bono consulting to entrepreneurs in conflict-affected countries. We help them build scale and create employment opportunities, and our motto is more jobs means less violence. So we really believe that entrepreneurs are actually the conduit to creating massive change in their communities and transformation. So we have to pick the right entrepreneurs. And then once we find those entrepreneurs, we give them a little extra boost to succeed. You might ask, well, if they're high impact, high success rate entrepreneurs, then why do they need the extra boost? Well, you have to remember that these entrepreneurs are not only in developing countries, but they're in conflict-affected countries, not just in emerging markets, but the conflict's really an issue. And so we help them with all kinds of services. They might not have access to the types of businesses that an entrepreneur in the US would have access to learn from the bigger businesses in the community. They might not have access to the business relationships to help them develop their supply chains and distribution networks. And we help them with that. And we're actually, this is very exciting, we're developing now a capital markets and corporate finance program where we're going to educate these entrepreneurs on accessing financing, on debt, equity, their various forms, their costs, their implications, and then we're also going to facilitate introductions to growth financing wherever appropriate. So if there are any financial professionals in the room who are interested in using their skills to help develop this program, the capital markets and corporate finance program specifically is still in development, and I welcome your input, and please talk to me anytime throughout the day. So the point of saying all of this is that in these areas, the business resources are much harder to come by. And so we're in for a real treat. As Skye said today, they've identified 4 really high-impact, high-success entrepreneurs who all have a history and relationships with the continent of Africa, which we all know does have less access to resources for business. And so they're overcoming enormous challenges. And the fact that they're transatlantic is an enormous feat to scale. So we're going to hear each of their stories for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then we're going to have a brief discussion up here, and we'll open it up to Q&A for all of you. So with that, I would like to introduce our first panelist, Selena Cuff.